In today's video, we're going to talk about the 4 Quarters Worksheet. This worksheet is an incredible tool of Financial Underearners Anonymous, and I want to teach you all about it. The 4 Quarters Worksheet can help you with your earning, your income, your savings, your spending, and paying off any debt that you may have, as well as building your wealth. That's right, the 4 Quarters covers all of these topics, and I want to teach you all about it. So stay tuned for this video. And if you want to see more videos just like this about how to apply 12-step recovery to real-life situations in the most prosperous manner possible, I want to encourage you to click the subscribe button and also consider giving this video a big thumbs up and like the video for service. Now, let's get on with the video. Hey, my name is Jay, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to the Financial UA General Service Office located here in Baltimore, Maryland. For this video on the 4 Quarters, we're going to present it to you in 2 parts. Video number 1 is going to focus on income and spending. Video number 2 is going to focus on debt and wealth. And you can watch both videos together to understand this whole system about using the 4 Quarters Worksheet. But we wanted to split the videos in half to make it easier to watch so it's not too long. Do consider checking out both videos. Some members of Financial UA find it's much easier to fill out the 4 Quarters Worksheet within the healing, healthy, safe space of a pressure relief group, or within an action meeting, or within a prosperity team meeting. You can fill out a 4 Quarters Worksheet with your sponsor, or with your action partner, or even with a friend or partner in recovery. The thing is, if you need support and you need help walking through filling out this worksheet, I want to encourage you to remember that recovery is a team sport, meaning that we don't need to do anything in recovery on our own by ourselves in isolation. Instead, we can take these kind of positive spiritual actions with a person who is understanding and supportive within the recovery environment. So, for today, I'm going to be your recovery action buddy, and we're going to fill out a 4 Quarters Worksheet together. And then once you get the hang of it, you can ask another person in recovery to fill out one of these worksheets with you, or to at least hold the space so that you can fill out a 4 Quarters Worksheet and feel comfortable to get in touch with looking at the truth in your numbers, the truth about your earning, your spending, your debt, if you have any, and your wealth. Now, the 4 Quarters Worksheet is complete on the website, and you can download a free copy. So I have my easel here, and we're going to fill out a 4 Quarters together. We're actually going to build it from scratch so you can see how it's built, why it's built and designed the way it is. What we're going to do first, we're going to take this sheet of paper and we're going to split it up into 4 quarters. That's why it's called the 4 Quarters Worksheet. So we're going to split it in half vertically, and then we're going to split it in half horizontally. And what that gives us is 1, 2, 3, 4 quarters. That's why it's called the 4 Quarters Worksheet, is because the worksheet is split into 4 quarters. And it takes 4 quarters to make $1. Do you get that? Do you see how I did that? So let's start going clockwise around the sheet of paper, and we'll fill out each of the quarters. The first quarter is going to be income. And income, we can also say that is earning. So this quarter is going to be all about our income and our earning. And let's fill it out together. So on the worksheet, the earning category, this earning quarter, is broken up into a series of possible categories. Let's list them. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I wrote 6 possible categories. You can have even more categories than that. Truly wealthy people tend to have many, many categories, 15 categories, 20 categories. These are all the possible ways that they could earn money. And many of their categories are built around earning active income and also passive income. Active income is money that you generate from actively working, for example, working at a job and then receiving a paycheck based on the number of hours that you work. Passive income is where you set up a structure that generates income and it continues to earn income even after you leave it alone. It's like a perpetual motion machine where it's constantly making money in the background, and it pays you that money even when you go to sleep. When you wake up every morning, you have more money. A good example of that is rental income, where once you purchase a property and rent it out, it continues to generate income for you even when you're not actively managing that. So there's active income and passive income. We're going to look at different kinds in the income quarter. Let's start talking about the different ways that you could earn. Most people tend to earn money by holding a job. So their job, sometimes they say that's just over broke. Most people don't get rich from working at a job. But what a job does is it provides a source of income. The rich people, the wealthy people, become wealthy. They develop wealth by using the money they get from their job to develop sources of wealth and also additional sources of income, both active income and passive income. We'll get to that a little bit later. But everybody starts with a job, and the best source of developing your wealth starts by getting a job, because a job gives you income, and then you can use your income to build all sorts of other forms of income. But again, we'll get to that later. So anyways, at a job, you basically trade your time in exchange for money. So what a job does is it gives you money. So that is your earning, or that is your income. They're interchangeable words. Now let's talk about other ways a person can generate income. By the way, a job is the #1 tool of recovery in Financial UA. When Financial UA members come to FUA, they often don't even have a job, or they're struggling to get a job. So this 4 quarters worksheet makes a lot more sense if you already have a job or some type of earning. But anyways, let's get back to this. Now let's think about other types of earning. Sometimes, in addition to a job, you might have a side hustle. Let's write that in. Side hustle. So a side hustle is like a part-time job on the side where you can generate some extra income from time to time. It just depends if you have the energy and the time left over in any given day to put towards developing a little bit more income. Now, a lot of other people, by the way, side hustles create income. Now, some people also have gigs. For example, I know there's a particular website, not to endorse it, but just saying, a website called Fiverr, where people advertise their skills and they do very small jobs for other people. Originally, it started by offering those jobs or skills for $5 a piece. So if a person could offer a skill or a small job and get paid $5 every time they offer that job, well, they can just find a way to maybe do 10 or 20 gigs over the course of a week, and then that means 10 or 20 times $5. So they're making $50 to $100 extra each week just by doing a couple of side gigs. So let's write that in here. Gigs. And gigs create some extra money. Now let's figure out other ways to develop some income. What do you think? I would encourage you to leave your suggestions in the comments section below. What other types of income do you have, or what types of income have you seen, whether it's active or passive? What's that? You said unemployment. That's a great idea. Because, since we're still in the middle of a pandemic, a global viral crisis, There are many people in many different countries who are not working, but they are receiving unemployment checks from their local government. So let's write that up here because it is a source of income. So I'm writing unemployment because unemployment provides you income. It may not be a lot of income, it may not be what you're used to earning, but still it's a source of income. And truth be told, there is nothing wrong about receiving unemployment because unemployment is insurance. That's right, unemployment is actually money that comes from an insurance policy that is in place so that if you were to lose your job, that insurance policy starts to pay you. That's why both you as a worker and your employer put money towards unemployment as you are working consistently over the years. So anyways, unemployment is a source of income for some people. But let's think about other ways money can flow into your life. You know, I heard that. You said stimulus checks. That's right, because in the United States, periodically, people have received economic stimulus checks from the federal government. So let's write that in here. Stimulus checks. And that's a source of money. In fact, we even had a video in Financial UA about what to do if you receive a stimulus check from the federal government and how do you use that money in a sober way instead of allowing the money to make you money drunk. We actually had a couple videos about that. In fact, I'll leave a link right up here, right at the top of the screen if you're interested in watching a video about what do you do when you receive unexpected money during a pandemic. Let's talk about other forms of income. What's that? I heard somebody say rental property. That's right. Some members in Financial UA actually do own rental property. So what happens is every month when you rent a piece of property to somebody, they pay you rent. And some of that rent goes towards paying off the property or paying for taxes or paying for maintenance, and then a portion of it goes to you as income. What other sources of income can you think of? What's that? Book royalties? That's right. If you happen to have ever written a book, then periodically over time, you're going to receive checks in the mail, or maybe they'll be direct deposited for every copy of the book that you sell. So let's write that in here. Book royalties. Excellent. You know, we've thought of a lot of really good sources of income. But you know, these aren't the only ones. There's dozens and dozens of different ways to earn extra money. So what we're going to do is we're going to write here, that's 7, this is 8, 9. We'll just leave some space here so that you can think of extra categories for earning. But what we're going to do next is we're going to write total. Right there. So we're going to do this 4 quarters worksheet for 1 month. We're going to look at a 1 month period of time in which all of your income flows in over a period of 1 month, and then we'll look at each of the other quarters, again, over a 1 month period of time. So what we're doing is right down here, we're putting a total space so that you can count up all the different sources of income that you receive over the course of 1 month, and then you can put that right there. That's a lot of income. So good earning. By the way, financial underearners have a disease of earning. Their disease shows up in their inability, their lack of being able to earn or to generate income sufficient to meet their needs, some of their wants, and to still allow them to have money left over to put into savings. They have a disease that damages their capacity to channel earning power. And so that always shows up because these numbers end up becoming smaller and smaller and smaller. That's what happens when you're a financial underearner. Anyways, let's talk about this second quarter of the worksheet. This quarter, quarter number 2, is for spending. Now, the spending quarter is actually very heavily influenced by another program, another 12-step program called Debtors Anonymous. And in Debtors Anonymous, they have what is called a spending plan. In fact, it's the #1 tool in the Debtors Anonymous program, aside from being and staying solvent, which means not incurring new unsecured debt. So if you ever are interested in developing a spending plan, I would encourage you to check out the Debtors Anonymous program, maybe go to a couple of their meetings, and perhaps even asking for a pressure relief group, because that is the tool that they use to help their members to develop a spending plan. So our 4 quarters actually consists of an earning plan, a spending plan, and then 2 other plans. We'll get to those later. Let's talk about the spending plan. So what a spending plan or the spending quarter, what that's made up of, is listing all the different categories and ways that a person spends their money over the course of 1 month. So I have 7, here's 8, here's 9, here's 10. Most of the time people have many more categories than just 10, but we're just going to use 10 to keep it simple. So I want to ask you, in your experience, what kind of items go in the spending category? What do you think? That's a great idea. Food. Everybody needs to buy food, so we spend money on food. Let's just specify that by saying groceries. So that's mostly what we mean by food. But there's another type of food that's called eating out. So if you like to go to restaurants, or if you're calling for food delivery services, which is pretty common these days, then you can have a category just for eating out. Let's put that right here. Now there's a couple other really primary categories that just about everybody has when it comes to spending. What do you think those are? You know, that's a great idea. Mortgage or rent, because people need shelter, a place to lay down and sleep and cook their meals and take care of themselves, rest at the end of the day, so we're going to put rent. And we're also going to put mortgage there because it just depends on a person's situation. They may be paying rent, they may be paying on a mortgage. So what other forms of spending do most people have? We usually say there are the 4 walls: food, shelter, clothing, and transportation. Let's add those in. Clothing, clothes, transportation. Now transportation could be a couple different things. Maybe it's having a bus pass or spending money on the bus or the subway. Some people have a car. To keep it simple, we'll just say car. Meaning that maybe some people have a car payment. Not everybody does. Some people own their car outright, free and clear. But let's just say if somebody has a car payment, we'll put that here. Car. Now, when a person owns a car, they actually have 4 different payments that they make most of the time. The first is the car payment, meaning they actually have to pay for the car. Then the second payment they make on a car is for maintenance. So let's write that here. Car maintenance. And maintenance refers to oil changes, changing your brakes, that sort of thing. Or if it breaks down, you need money to get it repaired. So car maintenance. So there are 2 other payments people make on their cars. What's that? Gasoline. That's right. Unless you have an electric car, you're going to be paying for gasoline for your car. So let's add that in. Gas. And what's the other thing? Insurance. That's right. Perfect. So anytime a person owns a car, they make a car payment, they put money aside for car maintenance, they have to pay for gas, and they have to pay for insurance. Now, what other things do people spend money on? You know, I have a couple ideas. How about cell phone? Most people have a cell phone plan that they have to pay every month. What else do they pay for? Internet. That's right, internet. And I'm going to put category 11 just because it refers to rent and mortgage. If you rent a place or have a mortgage, you also need to pay for utilities like your gas and electric or your water bill. Let's just lump those together under utilities. Excellent. Now, there could be many other categories here for spending. I'll just add 12, 13, 14. A lot of times people have 20 or 30 different categories for their spending. It's completely up to you in your personal situation. And again, if you need to, you can work with a sponsor, an action partner, or get a pressure relief group, or an action meeting, or work with your prosperity team to help develop your spending category and write down all the different ways that you might be spending. So this is your spending quarter, and these are all your spending categories. And at the very bottom, you're going to write a total. Because every one of these has a cost associated with it. So we'll just put a $ next to each one. You get the idea. And so on all the way down. So if you total up all your spending, you're going to have a pretty big number right there. And that'll be your total for all of the spending that you do every month. Now let's stop for a minute, and we're just going to look at your income quarter and your spending quarter. Basically, everything above the horizon on the 4 quarters worksheet. Because what this can tell us, just looking at these two areas, this tells us about our cash flow. So cash flow is a really important word. It refers to this idea that money or cash flows in through the income quarter and it flows out through the spending quarter. So healthy cash flow means there's a constant, steady flow of money flowing in and money flowing out. The problem with financial under-earners is that the money and the earning, the income, flows in less and less and less until it becomes just a little trickle. And eventually, sometimes the earning and the income stops completely. Now that presents a tremendous challenge. If there's no money flowing in, then how can a person spend money that they don't have? What financial under-earners do is they stop spending. They don't eat out. They stop spending as much money on groceries. They stop purchasing clothes and try to wear the clothes that they have until the clothes are threadbare and worn out. They may stop making payments on their car. They may stop doing maintenance on their car because they cannot afford the maintenance costs. So they allow their car to become dilapidated because they cannot afford the upkeep on the car. They may stop driving their car around because they cannot afford gas. Or they may allow their insurance to lapse because they can't pay for the insurance. They may stop paying for their utilities. I know one financial under-earner who went through one entire winter in his house with no heat because he did not have enough money to pay for the heat. So he just had to wear extra blankets around him and freeze during the winter because he had no heat in his house. Absolutely heartbreaking. But this is what happens to financial under-earners. If they don't have enough money coming in, they can't pay for any of these things. Or they reduce it down, and often what happens is they develop financial anorexia. Because the income becomes restricted, therefore their spending becomes restricted. And anorexia is a disease of withholding, restriction, living smaller and smaller, trying to live in a smaller and smaller box, or living on less and less and less. And it is a tremendously slippery slope that keeps going downward. It is a no-win situation. Now there's another situation that happens, and that is a situation of the debtor. For debtors, their income may go up, it may go down, or it may stay the same. But what happens for a debtor is they become addicted to spending. So it doesn't matter how much they earn, they will always tend to spend more than what they earn. And after you do that for a while, you're going to run out of money if you're spending more than what you earn. If what is going out is greater than what's coming in, eventually you're going to run out of money. And then what the debtor does is they start taking out debt to supplement their income. Now's the time for sharing. Who'd like to take a share? In the comment section below, please share your experience, strength, and hope around using the 4 quarters worksheet. What part worked best for you? What were your categories for earning, spending, debt, or savings and wealth building? What kind of categories did you use? Did you enjoy using the worksheet? How often do you use it? And what purpose do you use it for? Is it for personal reasons or for business reasons? Please share your experience in the comments section below. Remember, when you take a share, other members can learn from you, because in Financial UA, everybody's a student and everybody's a teacher. You might want to consider clicking the thumbs up button and give us a big thumbs up for service. You might also consider sharing this video with your sponsor or your sponsee or anybody else you know in recovery who might be able to benefit from learning more about the 4 quarters worksheet. Please do consider sharing this video with other people. If you would like to make a 7th tradition donation to the Financial UA program, I will leave a link in the description box below that will take you to PayPal, where you can click that and make a 7th tradition donation to our program. You may also support our program by purchasing a copy of our Financial UA 12-step workbook or our Financial UA Traditions workbook. You can also support the Financial UA program by subscribing to the Financial UA channel. You might also consider ringing the notification bell. That way you'll be notified every time Financial UA posts a new video, and you can be one of the first people to see it. At this time, I would love to invite you to say the prosperity prayer with me as a way of getting positive spiritual closure on this video. Let's do that together. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, the wisdom to know the difference, and the prosperity to afford it. That's so awesome. I really appreciate that you said the prayer with me. And of course, I want to encourage you to keep coming back. I really appreciated that you were a part of this video. Thanks so much. You are awesome. I wish you a lot of recovery and a tremendous and abundant amount of prosperity. Anyways, I want to encourage you to keep coming back. Thanks again for watching this video. Share it with others if you can. And I look forward to speaking with you soon.
God grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, courage to change the things we can, wisdom to know the difference, and the prosperity